Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the September 29th edition of Carolina Week.
An incident on the University of Texas campus has us all asking that recurring question: how safe are we?
The campus chapter of a civil rights organization is taking a stand about area educational policies.
In sports, we'll preview the football team's game against East Carolina, and we'll tell you about a UNC athlete who dominates in more than one sport.
Weathercaster Carl Barnes will tell us how much longer we'll need our umbrellas and rain boots.
All that and a Tar Heel from the past who's leading students into the future. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
A gunman loose on a college campus. It's a scary reminder of the tragedy at Virginia Tech. Good evening, I'm Andrea Lutka.
And I'm Claudia Rubsich. Thank you for joining us. Monday's incident at the University of Texas also brings back memories of March 2006 on our own campus, when a former student slammed his SUV into unsuspecting students in the pit. AJ Keener has been following this story and joins us live in the satellite studio. AJ, events like this can make us think about our own safety.
Well, they do, Claudia, but students say it's comforting when warning systems work. University of Texas students at 8 o'clock yesterday morning and might have saved their lives when a campus shooter was spotted in a library.
An armed person on the campus at Perry Castaneda Library this morning. The police, both our police and Austin police, responded to it very quickly.
Officials canceled classes and evacuated students from campus. The shooter took his own life, but no students were harmed. And many think the alert system at Texas is the reason. Alert Carolina is very comparable to the system at Texas, and many students here feel safe because of that.
At a university of our size, it is possible to make sure that no one gets hurt in that situation, even when it's completely taking everyone by surprise and in a major part of campus.
Department of Public Safety spokesman Randy Young is confident in UNC's Alert Carolina system.
I think we're in great shape relative to just a few years ago. I think we've completely revamped and revolutionized the way we communicate in a crisis situation here.
Officials tested Alert Carolina last week, and the DPS reports no problems with the system. You can attend or arrange a shots fired training by going to the DPS website and following the link under breaking news.
AJ, what does that type of training involve?
Well, Claudia, it's a 30-minute DVD and a presentation for groups on campus that tells you how to respond when an active shooter is in your vicinity, what to do when the police arrive, and how to recognize signs of potential violence.
Thanks, AJ. That's AJ Keener, live in our satellite studio.
It used to be a bad thing to read things that were banned or censored, but this Thursday, UNC faculty and students will read books that have challenged the norm. This week is Banned Books Week, and on Thursday afternoon, the pit will become a stage for censored books. To Kill a Mockingbird, Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry, and even The Lorax by Dr. Seuss are all on the list. Starting at 12:30, Student Body President Hogan Medlin and other faculty and staff will read banned books in the pit. Medlin says such an event highlights Carolina's heritage.
Practice free speech, but we encourage it, with pit preachers or student organizations or outside protesters, it's something that is really encouraged here. So the fact that we celebrate it says a lot about the community at Carolina.
Tomorrow will be a day to remind us all of the freedoms we have under the First Amendment. UNC will be hosting a day of celebrations across campus commemorating freedom of speech, as well as looking at how it affects the lives of Carolina students. Events include the planting of a second Liberty tree, a Q&A session with political activist Noam Chomsky, and a banned book reading. There will also be a keynote address by media law expert Frank Lamont discussing new media, old obstacles, and their effect on college journalists. The event is a collaboration between the Center for Media Law and Policy and the UNC School of Journalism and Mass Communication.
Anyone with eyes can tell you Chapel Hill loves its trees. That's why the tree protection ordinance has been in place for years, requiring that you have a permit to remove any tree with a trunk 6 inches or thicker. But now the town council is considering some changes to the rule. At Monday's town meeting, the council discussed a new tree canopy requirement. The new ordinance would call for a certain portion of property to be covered in trees based on canopies and not trunks. The council has delayed its decision until December 6th. The UNC chapter of Building Tomorrow is trying to raise $45,000 to build a school in Uganda. The group held a fundraiser at Noodles & Company on Tuesday. They sported bright orange t-shirts and passed out flyers to customers as they walked into the restaurant. Customers and group members alike were able to enjoy some tasty food. And they even had some people stop and sign up for the group's website to get more involved in the project. Natalie Sutton says kids in Uganda face obstacles we can't even imagine.
Sometimes parents don't even want to send their kids to school, especially their daughters, just because there aren't appropriate restroom facilities. So just the difference is so huge.
Building Tomorrow is holding its next big fundraiser called Bike to Uganda next week. Students will bike the 7,000 miles it takes to get to Uganda from Chapel Hill.
The UNC chapter of the NAACP is challenging students to step up and fight a decision by a local school board. Trey Green has that story.
It's not about you. That's right. It is about them.
Calls for action echoed through the quad last Wednesday as a growing crowd cheered on. The occasion? The kickoff rally for UNC's chapter of the NAACP. Reverend William Barber, president of the North Carolina chapter of the NAACP, was the keynote speaker at the rally. A pressing issue he covered during his speech was the decision by the school board of Wake County to begin assigning students under a neighborhood zone plan, replacing the current diversity-based model. During their bi-weekly meetings, members of the UNC NAACP received updates on the state of the case, and NAACP President Brittany Edens considers it her duty to protect the future of all students affected by the board's decision.
We don't want this to happen. We don't want this precedent to be set for the whole state of North Carolina. I think it's okay.
On Saturday, September 19th, Reverend Barber announced that the North Carolina NAACP filed a lawsuit against the Wake County school system. UNC NAACP PR coordinator Alicia Williams views the suit as a necessary action.
The lawsuit is very important to give light to people around the world that this should not be going on here, and a lot of people are not going to just see about us protesting.
On this Saturday, October 2nd, members of the NAACP will travel to Washington, D.C. for the One Nation March on Washington. Members of the UNC NAACP plan to continue to voice their opinions as they witness the controversial changes occurring only one county away. In Chapel Hill, I'm Trey Green, Carolina Week.
More than 30 members of the UNC chapter will travel to Saturday's One Nation March on Washington for equality.
Carrying textbooks around for class can be a heavy and expensive proposition.
Coming up, we'll show you how some students are lightening their textbook load.
Hey.
Ready to go?
Yeah, but the fire's not out.
It's close enough.
Huh. Close enough? If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. I mean, the next thing you know, you've torched our whole neighborhood.
Which is why we're not going anywhere?
Exactly. 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Two out of 3 people with diabetes die of heart attack or stroke. That was his wake-up call. This is yours. Ask your healthcare provider how you can lower the risk. To learn more, go to diabetesactnow.org.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad
One more
today.
time. Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
The average UNC undergraduate student spends close to $1,000 on textbooks every year. But there is another option. Rachel Nash is live in our studio. Rachel, anything that will help save students some cash is of interest to most college students.
That's for sure, Andrea. And now Student Stores is offering e-books, an electronic alternative to textbooks. But there's some disagreement about whether e-books are a less expensive alternative in the long run. Take a look. Wesley Strunk uses his 10-ounce Amazon Kindle to access e-books for his classes. Strunk says e-books and his $200 Kindle have made his book bag a lot lighter.
Carrying around a book bag all day with different books, having just one device is a lot easier than managing a bunch of other stuff.
But only 3% of classes actually offer the ebook option. And many students, like sophomore Molly Miller, say they prefer the traditional way of studying.
If I have something tangible, then I'll be more willing to remember to do my homework.
UNC professor of English, Joseph Wittig, encourages his students to investigate this cheaper alternative.
Textbooks are enormously expensive, really overly expensive, and publishers milk them like a cash cow.
Kelly Hanner says ebooks are less expensive up front, but students can't resell them. Hanner says when students resell books, they get back more of what they spent.
Economically, the printed copy, that scenario is the win-win for the student.
But junior Gracie Murchison says her $500 iPad was worth the money. After purchasing the ebook, she uses her iPad as a study tool to go through the material.
So I can have it right on the desk, right next to where I'm taking my notes.
And she's able to simultaneously take notes on her iPad with the readings pulled up. Both Murchison and Strunk both believe ebooks and e-readers will become even more popular for students in the future.
Some of my friends are going to get one just from seeing mine. It's just a really practical use.
Practicality that might save you a pretty penny. UNC was one of the first universities in the state to offer ebooks, which first became available in 2008.
Rachel, whenever I sell my books back, I really don't get a whole lot of money for them. Shouldn't that be part of the equation?
Well, some students think so. It's really a matter of how much you spend on the textbooks. In disciplines like chemistry, they can be very expensive, and whether e-readers make economic sense for you.
That's Rachel Nash live in our studio. Thanks, Rachel.
Residents in Carrboro might now feel a little safer in their homes. Has been up and running for nearly a month. The station houses 4 firefighters at one time in small bedrooms, while also providing them areas for training, nourishment, and recreation. It's equipped with 2 trucks, a pumper tanker, and a ladder truck. Each truck is capable of transporting the 4 crew members. A $3 million investment from the town contributed to the construction.
And you have 2 more days to nominate your favorite professor for a university-wide award. Go to provost.unc.edu to fill out the application, then follow links to each of the 7 awards offered. You also have to submit a nomination letter with the application. There are 7 teaching awards available each year for deserving faculty, staff, and grad students. A committee of faculty and staff members will make the selections later this semester.
Southern Season, the local gourmet retailer, can no longer teach locals how to tailgate during this football season. Because of county restrictions on permits, Southern Season is unable to use grills during cooking classes. The county is demanding that the store obtain a restaurant permit and upgrade to commercial-grade equipment. The store is fighting back and lobbying to have the Board of Commissioners create a provision that applies specifically to cooking schools. It believes a cooking class is different than a restaurant because store employees are teaching customers to cook in a kitchen and not in a restaurant setting.
After one of the weathercaster, Carl Barnes, joins us right now, isn't that right?
That is, and we have had a lot of rain the last couple days, and coming up just after the break, I'll let you know if we're going to expect that rain to continue or if we're going to be out of the clear anytime soon.
Today is a special day. Today we gather as a nation and as an international community to recognize the selfless decision of one of the most influential women of our time. She's been recognized by religious figures and politicians around the world. To us, she's just Rachel, but to the rest of the world, she's the woman who, after having one too many drinks, chose not to drive home buzzed. here today to honor Rachel is the family whose lives she spared.
There's a place not so far away, a place where you don't have to keep the volume down. You'll find all sorts of creatures in this place without have to. The silly you, the proud you. You may even meet the curious you.
Tickling me! You!
Ask your parents to take you to this not so far away place. Come to the forest, where the other you lives. But first, stop by discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I am forecaster Carl Barnes with a look at your forecast, which is actually being very heavily influenced by Tropical Storm Noel. We do have that tropical activity. It's making it rain a lot over central North Carolina. We're seeing rain rates up to 3 or 4 tenths of an inch in a lot of parts of the state, which, although it might not sound a lot, that is per hour. So it's going to add up over the course of the next day or so. And as a result of that, we have seen the National Weather Service issue the flash flood watch. Now, the watch just means that conditions are going to be right for it within the next 24 hours or so. If we do see it start to occur, they will upgrade it to a warning. And that means you definitely need to be careful if you're in especially urban areas or low-lying areas, anywhere that's going to be more prone to that flash flooding. But as we head into the end of the week and into the weekend, we are going to see that storm go ahead and move out to the north, and we should have a pretty pleasant weekend. All right, so taking a look now at the tropics, you can see we do have a couple little areas of concern out in the middle of the Atlantic. We're really not too worried about those. We don't think they're going to develop into anything. This right here, that's our weather maker right now. That is Tropical Storm Noel. They sent a hurricane tracking plane through it this morning. Saw winds top out, sustained winds right around 50 miles an hour. So it is pretty strong winds. And as you can see, it should be moving north over the course of the next couple days. Midnight tonight, we're going to see it just off the coast of North Carolina. And then as we go into noon on tomorrow, we're going to see it move pretty much to the north of us. And once that happens, we should be in the clear for the most part of a lot of the rain that's going to be associated with it. Taking a look at our satellite, what you're going to see is this really bright white right here. That is associated with Hurricane Nicole. That is also the thickest clouds is what that represents. And that is associated with the heaviest rain, which you can see right here on our surface map. A lot of it concentrated to the north side of this low. This is going to move almost directly north up over the next couple days. And that's what's going to just keep the rain coming and coming. And we should see winds start to pick up as we head into tonight, and very heavy rain is going to continue. That is going to be because the center of that low is coming toward us. We're going to see lows right down around 60s, upper 60s to maybe even lower 70s in some warmer parts of the state. And as we head into tomorrow, the heavy rain is going to continue, and we're going to see these showers keep going through the morning, right around 78 degrees. If you're heading out across North Carolina tomorrow, Asheville, you're going to see temperatures in the mid to upper 60s, and the beach is going to be much considerably warmer. It's going to be temperatures right around 80 degrees. For the football game on Saturday, you're going to see pretty comfortable temperatures throughout the day, maybe a little bit chilly. You might want to bring a jacket. You can take a look at our 5-day forecast, and should steadily cool off as we head through the week, but it should be nice this weekend.
I'm all for the cool, not so much for the rain. I had to dig in and find my rain boots today. Hopefully that won't be the case.
Yeah, it's all right. Tomorrow you can hide them again.
Thank God. I'm also all for the hot weather, so thank you very much.
After one of the hottest summers in North Carolina history, groundskeepers at Finley Golf Course are working hard to keep the course in good shape. Although many North Carolina golf courses shut down this summer to avoid the damage that heat and heavy play would bring, Finley was able to stay open. Director of Course Operations Ross Fowler attributes this to thoughtful design by architect Tom Fazio and hard work by the crew of 19 that maintains the course. OWASA also lifted watering restrictions this summer that affected UNC's home course in the past. Today's rain is timely because it will help keep the course's fairways playable until winter. Let's take it over to sportscaster Justin Page. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, we're playing ECU this weekend, this Saturday. What can we expect in this game?
Claudia, you can expect a great atmosphere Saturday at Kenan Stadium. Heels taking on an in-state rival, trying to get win number 2. Should be a blast. Coming up after the break, we'll introduce you to a Tar Heel who does it all.
Hoy, el envenenamiento por pintura con plomo afecta a más de 1 millón de niños. El polvo de la pintura con plomo puede causar comportamiento violento. Si su casa se construyó antes de 1978, llame o conéctese.
Los albergues son los mejores lugares para encontrar a una nueva mascota. Descubrirás saludables y amorosos animales esperando a convertirse en parte de tu familia. Cree en el espíritu de la temporada. Adopta a tu nuevo amigo de un albergue hoy. Averigua más en theshelterpetproject.org.
Bienvenidos, encantado. Entiendo que necesitan ayuda con la hipoteca. Quieren evitar un embargo. Nosotros somos expertos en esa cosita de la hipoteca.
¿De veras?
Y por supuesto, porque no hacemos un contrato.
Toma, Pedro.
Gracias.
Si enfrenta una ejecución hipotecaria, hable con las personas indicadas. Llame sin costo alguno a los asesores de vivienda aprobados por HUD al teléfono 888-995-4673.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Justin Page. Earlier today, Athletics Director Dick Baddour said UNC will appeal the suspensions of defensive backs Deontay Williams and Kendrick Burney in a conference call with NCAA officials on Friday. So it's possible that they could be available for Saturday's game against East Carolina. However, the Heels could already be without 2 difference makers, one on offense and one on defense. In this past Saturday's game at Rutgers, watch running back Johnny White pull up right there at the end of the run. He turned his ankle on the play, and after that, he only came in for one more. Coach Butch Davis says he's unsure if White will play against ECU, but White, meanwhile, he says he should be good to go. Meanwhile, defensively, the Heels could be without star linebacker Quan Sturdivant. Watch him on the right side of your screen right there. He sacks Rutgers quarterback Tom Savage from behind and stays on the ground. He actually pulled his hamstring on the play. Carolina's defense could definitely use Sturdivant. East Carolina is averaging 42 points per game. That's pretty incredible, and that's good for 9th in the country. However, ECU's defense is also giving up 42 points per game, so TJ Yates and company should have a great opportunity to put some points up on the board. Here at the University of National Champions, there are lots of top athletes, and Joelle Kaplan introduces us to one Tar Heel who takes the word of champion to a whole new level.
Now in her 3rd year at UNC, number 77 in blue, Rebecca Crabb, has already accomplished so much you might not believe it.
Assisted by number 77, Rebecca Crabb.
She's already won 2 NCAA championships with the soccer team, but she wasn't even recruited.
I actually walked onto the team here, so I didn't expect to be able to be a part of this family, this group on campus.
But Crabb doesn't just play soccer. Last fall, she played team handball for the first time ever. By April, she and the UNC Team Handball Club had won, you guessed it, a national championship. By August, she was training with the national team in Colorado Springs.
The goal is to qualify for the Olympics in 2012, but probably 2016 is more likely.
But that's not all. Crabb has also won 5 of the coveted UNC Intramural Champion t-shirts.
I do seem to wear them more than I probably should, but it's just because I have 5 of them. But no, I've never worn them like Monday through Friday or anything obnoxious like that.
Crabb is never boastful, not about her athletic gifts, her various musical talents, or even her prestigious Moorhead Cain academic scholarship. But one thing is clear. For this Tar Heel, no goal is out of reach. In Chapel Hill, I'm Joelle Kaplan, Carolina Week.
You can see Crabb and the UNC women's soccer team back in action this Friday night at NC State. The field hockey team is 1 game closer to breaking its own single-season shutout record. The team traveled to Farmville, Virginia last night to take on Longwood. Kelsey Kolajczyk netted a hat trick, and the Heels held the Lancers to only 2 shots and no goals for a final score of 5-0. The Heels recorded their 6th shutout in only 10 games. Just incredible defense for the ladies, which means they're only now 11 shutouts away from breaking the school record. The men's soccer team is trying to get back on track after last night's game at Old Dominion. After topping number 8 Maryland this past weekend, the team took the field against the Monarchs last night, and the Heels took an early lead on an Enzo Martinez goal, but couldn't hold on as Old Dominion scored to tie the game in the first half, and then once again in the 80th minute to take the Heels 2-1. UNC falls to a 5-2 record overall, and their next game is Friday at Virginia. Now, everyone knows the NFL Combine consists of top athletes competing to prove they're worthy of playing at the next level, right? Well, not quite. Yesterday, students and staff gathered on Hooker Fields to compete in a football combine for fun. Participants competed in the same events that NFL players use to evaluate prospects, including the 40-yard dash, the bench press, the 3-cone drill, and let's not forget about the hops. They did the broad jump and the vertical jump. And who can forget the shuttle run? Unfortunately, at the end of the night, participants got prizes and not NFL contracts. So not good news for them. And I think maybe us here on Carolina Week, we should get out there and try that. What do you think?
I think it'd be very interesting. I think I could do pretty well, except for the, the bench presses, but it'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm thinking that would be something definitely to film. Thanks, Justin.
We're involved in a rapidly changing industry.
And one UNC alum is leading the effort to find the formula that will work for the journalism of tomorrow. When most people graduate from college, they don't expect to come back as a teacher.
But this fall, UNC is saying hello again to a familiar face. Michael Blackman has that story.
I'm doing well, thank you.
Okay. It's been 2 decades since Monty Cook studied in Polk Place or spent an extended amount of time in any of UNC's libraries. But now, he's back.
I've loved this campus. I graduated from here in 1986. This is my home state. I grew up in Western North Carolina. My parents still live in the western part of the state, so it is a bit of a homecoming on many fronts for me.
A homecoming indeed. He's the executive producer of the Reese Felts Digital Newsroom, a $3.5 million project funded by Carolina alumnus Reese Felts. This is where the Digital Newsroom is located. The room houses 5 flat-screen televisions so students can stay updated on the news. It also includes workstations, so all 18 students on staff can do research for stories. Lead developer in the newsroom, Tony Zioli, looks forward to helping Cook lead a nationally important online project, something he says suits Cook well.
Working with Monty Cook has been, for me, a great learning experience, just from the pure standpoint that here's someone who's led, very successful digital news projects.
Before coming back to UNC, Cook worked for the Baltimore Sun, helping the paper become an industry leader for online news. He also held management positions at the Washington Post. Cook knows that traditional journalism is changing, but he has high hopes for the up-and-coming journalist of today.
This generation will be the one that figures it out and actually takes journalism to that next level.
With that being said, Cook and his team are already diving headfirst into this project. In Chapel Hill, I'm Michael Blackman, Carolina Week.
I've been down there a lot, guys. It's really important that we kind of move into digital journalism and combine everything we're doing here with Carolina Week with other elements within the school as well.
Yeah, and I think we're so lucky that we got, Monty Cook to come back here, and we have him as a professor, and he's great, and he really knows a lot, so I'm really glad.
No, most definitely. And just to remind us, Carl, we're going to have some pretty nice weather this weekend for the football game, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely, Justin. For this weekend, we're expecting, really, once that rain moves out, Friday, Saturday, we're going to see mostly sunny skies, maybe a few high clouds here and there. And then for our temperatures, starting out in the 70s, upper 70s at the end of the week, and slowly dipping down to the mid 60s by the end of the week.
Should be a perfect weekend for football.
Yep.
That does it for Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching, and good night.